Hello, everybody. This is a Lamley Showcase. Time to open Hot Wheels Car Culture Fast Wagons 2. Second time Fast Wagons has been in Car Culture. Fourth mix of 2025. Hammer Drop, Silhouettes, Off-Road, and now Fast Wagons. Really excited. We debuted the mix a couple weeks ago. Now we're going to open them up. And since I did the first one from my backyard, we're going to do the second one from a pretty fabulous location. I am up Lost in Utah as always. I've been here before. I've actually filmed some stuff here before. Capitol Reef is in the distance. You'll just take in the views. It's kind of cool up here. And happily not as windy as it typically is. I want you to stick around after we do this portion of the video showcasing these models, because the second part, the car show portion of this video, will be the wagons ranked. I've gone through my collection of Hot Wheels wagons and I have picked out and ranked the top wagon. And I'm not talking about just castings. I'm talking about actual models and releases. We'll go through all of that in part 2. You're going to enjoy that. And it's kind of crazy, the amount of cool wagons. But let's get down to this mix. You might see some of them in that ranking. We will have to see. But let's get right to it. 5 cars plus a chase. Obviously the chase is 0 of 5. In this particular case, 1 of 5 is the new casting. We'll get to that last. So we might as well start, we'll just go backwards, I guess. And we'll start with this, the Subaru Forester STI. I think it's fair to argue that maybe this isn't a wagon, but you know, there were some leaked lists and some people saw a different wagon in here, and maybe that's the case, that this was kind of a last minute addition. Boy, when the sun is out, you kind of find the best angle, but the background is always great. So I don't know if this is actually a wagon. I mean, the obvious Subaru wagon is the Outback. I guess you could go back to the Legacy, but the Legacy evolved into the Outback. That is a true wagon. I've seen the 2025. It seems more like an SUV, but that's a topic for another time. Forester does have 4 doors. Forester does have a hatch in the back. So it's not the end of the world. And plus, I mean, are we really going to argue that we don't want this awesome silver version of the Forester STI? First version was in blue with the gray wheels, the 10-spoke rims. This one gets black 6 spokes. That really, really work here. And so, yeah, if you want to argue whether or not it's a wagon, go for it. Have a good time. Maybe I won't include this in my wagon ranking, but I am not complaining about this model being in the list at all. It's fabulous. And if you look at all the details, I mean, the STI badging on the front, everything going on in the back, I think it's a fantastic, fantastic model. And no complaints from me, at least, at this being in here. The more the merrier when it comes to the Forester STI. All right, next one. We'll get that controversial one out of the way, and let's get to definitely a proper wagon, the Volvo 850 Estate. So this is a proper wagon. Second time it's been in premium. Premium, we're talking about car culture. Second time it's been in car culture. Second time it's been in fast wagons. First time was a more factory yellow version. This one is obviously a tribute or homage to the racing Volvo 850. I didn't show you the back. Why don't I show you the back? There is that. There are the 5 cars in the mix. And the artwork is fabulous too. So we get a black and white background. I can't remember if that's how it was in the original wagons, but we get the black and white background. We get the version in color. This one looks like it's up somewhere, in the mountains, which is fabulous. You call it Colorado, call it Utah. Definitely not this location. But this is a very, very cool version of the wagon. 10 spokes on this one, 5 spokes I think on the original. And yeah, while it's an homage, it does get that full Volvo wrap, which I think is fabulous. I am not going to complain about this casting being in anything, anytime, anywhere. Racing, factory, street, you name it. I love this casting. It's beautifully done. I believe this is a Rio Asada casting, to be honest. Yeah, well, actually I know it is, because he did it debuted in basic and then obviously has moved to premium. Really, really fun model to collect, and a proper wagon for fast wagons, because it is a fast wagon. Stance, everything is perfect with this one. All right, so we move that one over here in the stack, and we come over here, and hidden away, this is like as we determined, there's one Japanese, the Subaru. There's several European, and one muscle wagon. Last time we had Was it the Nova delivery? I think it was. This one is the 70 Chevelle SS wagon. This is the panel wagon, right? The delivery version of the wagon. There's a windowed version too. I don't know if we've seen it in premium. There's that great one with Hearst Deco, but this one is great as a panel wagon and incredibly cool with the Yanko livery on it. So it says Performance Chevrolet. Has a real cool vintage vibe to it, which I'm always for, especially with the muscle wagons. I am with everybody. We do need to see more muscle in car culture. This is one way to do it. Give us a muscle wagon. There's obviously mixes we could do as well. So this is an older casting. When was this one done? 2010. We've seen it mainly in pop culture. So seeing this one, just like the Nova wagon, so seeing this one pop into car culture is absolutely welcome. And this yellow with the striping, how cool is that? Love everything about this one. Really, really cool model. All right, so that we've gotten the Japanese out of the way. We've gotten one of the European models out of the way. Let's go to these proper German models, right? Okay, we'll get to the Chase and the regular version here in a second, but let's get to the Mercedes-Benz E36 AMG. Third time we have seen this one. First one in black, second one in white. We did have the fixing of the door. I wonder if we'll see the black one again. I still have said, remember I said we should do a carry forward with the black wagon and like a 2-pack, just so we get the one with the corrected door line on it. If you don't know, we can explain it another time. Absolutely love this one in black. We've had it with the 5 spokes, right? 5 spokes to start in black. We've had it with the 10 spokes in the white version that came out, and now we have it with the 6 spokes in this red version. This casting is so phenomenal, and I just adore it. I love it in this red color. I want it in as many colors as we can. White and black, of course. This red is great. I mean, there's silver, of course. There's a million ways to go with this casting. White with white rims is definitely on the list, even though we've already had a white version. But this red one is fabulous. It's like perfectly done. And seeing this one with the Audi and everything else is absolutely cool. And I love that one. Let's put this one down and get to these two. All right. This is the new casting. It is the Audi RS6 Avant. This is, I think, the latest generation or just last generation of the Audi RS6 Avant. This is the second RS6. The first one, I think I've got here. Well, that was the first time it was in car culture, right? So we had this version. This was fast wagons from the last mix. So the Audi, this is not the same casting, right? This is an older version. I think this is the 2017 Audi RS6 Avant in gray with 10-spoke rims, an absolutely fabulous model. And they weren't doing chases for that mix. I mean, this one could have been a chase back then, but this one was really cool in gray with the dark rims. We saw it kind of do that in that Kroger exclusive too, but this premium car culture is awesome. And then as a bridge, I think, to this current release, we had this one in the kind of tribute racing livery, which I think looks really cool as well. So this one in its Audi racing livery that we've seen in the RS2, and we've also seen in the S4 Quattro. We've seen them do this, and I wonder if we're going to see the other one. But whether or not we do, the fact of the matter is, this is definitely tribute colors, but this is actually based on a release on a special edition of the Audi RS6 Avant. This is what I didn't know the last time I did it. And now it looks like either it's an homage or it's close to it. This is an actual release with the white rims, with the Audi tribute, the Audi Colors tribute, which looks so cool. And looks cool with this background, right? So let's get this thing open and put it on the turntable. We can do some comparisons maybe in the ranking with what this car looks like, or what it looks like, but it's just a later generation. Still essentially the same lowered, fast, incredibly cool silhouette. A lot of similarities between the last Audi RS6 Avant. I mean, of course, we could pull out like the one from 20 years ago, the Matchbox did, but we'll just stay sticking to the Hot Wheels here. But that's another favorite casting of mine. But this looks so cool, and I do love it in this tribute. I do love the fact that it's not a made-up livery, right? That this is an actual special edition of the Audi RS6 Avant. And the cool thing is that the chase then really serves a purpose as like the factory version. So it's a pretty straightforward chase. Black rims, black body when it comes to car culture chases, black on black, which is what we get with all of them for the most part. But the cool thing about this one is we get a fully different take. So we get 10-spoke rims instead of the 6 spokes, and it just looks like what a black on black, what someone would buy. This is very much what I love about car culture chases. No Spectre Flame paint. Black is the theme with the exception of Roxy, of course, but they've all been black. And they look like actual real cars. I mean, like the, what was the Liberty Walk Skyline was a proper Liberty Walk. The Chase and the regular, and this one definitely fits that. So you have the special edition plus a black street version, and it's perfect. It almost like fits the Audi tribute version that they did for Pop Culture, and of course the gray version last time. We already have the companion pieces for them already, right? I think that's cool, just in one drop, in one mix. So there you go. There's the view. Here are the models, which of course I've opened for the edit, but I haven't opened yet while I'm standing here. Just an amazing view. I hope you like it, because I sure do. I mean, this is the view right here, because we're up in the mountains. I got pine trees behind me, and I've got desert and very Utah landscape ahead of me. You guys tell me what you think. Let's get to the car show ranking the best Hot Wheels wagon releases. All right, let's get right to it. We are off the top of the mountain, back into the studio, ready to rank the best Hot Wheels wagon releases, shall we say, of all time. Let's be dramatic. These are all out of my collection. Focus on the word releases, not castings, although I have 15 castings here, all different. My rule here is that I'm going with releases, so I am factoring in not only the casting, but the decos, the wheels, everything. These are the 15 best wagons, in my opinion, that have been released. The 15 best wagon releases by Hot Wheels, and they're all out of my loose car collection. But my one rule is once a casting is represented, it won't repeat. So think about, for example, the Datsun 510 wagon. There's some really good ones that have been released, but once it hits this top 15, you will not see it again. You will see it. So let's get right to it. What you're looking at here is the 69 Squareback. That is the one model that missed out. Well, there's several wagons that didn't make it. This is the one that just barely missed the cut. It would be considered number 16. And I don't know if you'd even consider the Squareback a wagon, but I'm going with the silhouette. So it's not a hatchback, obviously not a Cooper sedan. These are the wagon silhouettes. You could argue 4 doors versus 2 doors, all that kind of stuff. So that's actually a great place to start, because the number 15 is the Volkswagen Brasilia. You're going to see several 2-door wagons, and that kind of vibes with Hot Wheels. Whereas Matchbox, I want to see 4-door wagons. I want to see Vista Cruisers and like classic, you know, just road wagons. They did that 04, 06 RS6 Avant and everything. But, you know, with sport wagons and things, you could argue maybe some of these points, but I say the Volkswagen Brasilia is a wagon. It's a small wagon, be kind of like the Datsun wagon, I would think. But I love this casting. It's finally made it to premium last year, right? But I still love the very first edition that was released years and years ago in that color. It's just a really cool classic Brazilian car, something I saw a lot when I lived there. And just a utility wagon, and I love that Hot Wheels did it. So that's number 15. Number 14, you could definitely argue that this isn't a wagon because it wasn't built as a wagon. This was built as a BMW E30. This was released last year. This is a custom E30 built as a shooting brake or as a wagon or something like that. And you've seen these modified E30s before. And yeah, you could probably argue that maybe it's not, but it's that silhouette, and I dig this casting, and I'm very excited for its future. Love this design. And that was an easy one to get into the top 15 as well. Moving on, I want to keep this fairly quick. And you can start trying to predict where this might go, because we're going from 15 down to 1. I definitely have a number 1 casting, but you're going to see this, or 15, or release, whatever. Here is number 13. It is the Max Wagon, another one that is like the E30. You could argue maybe isn't one because it's just a modified Maxima, right? I don't know if did they do a Maxima wagon? Maybe they did. But this one is obviously modified as a drift car. Did hit premium in that Gretty premium set, but I like this modal set with kind of the cream white color. Dima did this one. It's just an outlandish casting, but I absolutely love it with the 3 spokes, I think that was where the 3-spokes debuted. Am I correct there? Absolutely love that one. Excited to see future releases of that one. All right, another one that I love. These have been kind of, I guess you could say all those are, yeah, those are all nostalgic wagons or custom wagons. This one is a proper, well, it's a two-door wagon as well. Are you just digging the slam Volvos that they've been doing, Hot Wheels? And this one in particular, the Amazon Estate, love it. What is the number? A P220 Amazon Estate. Debuted in the first wagon mix, but I like this faded yellow race version with the modern rims. I just love that they've been doing that with these Volvo castings, and this one is no exception. It's just a super, super cool one. And of those Amazon releases, this yellow one is my favorite and takes the number 12 spot. So number 11. This one, I think this color combination and wheel combination, I don't care what they'd put it on. I was going to find a place for it. Obviously, it had to be a wagon. This is the Nova wagon. This is from the first mix. It's probably a little bit of an underappreciated compared to some of the other models in that mix. But this is not the last you've seen of this mix. But this color with the chrome steelies, white roof, delivery Nova, right, is about as good, or panel Nova, is about as good as it gets for me in terms of colors, especially muscle. That's our first, right? That's our first American wagon. Won't be the last as well. Just love that. And you'll see that theme kind of play out a little bit later. I just think that one's cool. All right, here's one coming from the mix we just showcased today. And I went back and forth. The RS6 Avant is a legendary performance wagon. It has been for, what, a couple of decades at least. RS2 is as well, but this is the RS6, and this is the chase version of the brand new casting. I did think about that special edition, but I like this one. Kind of pays homage to one of my favorite Matchbox castings ever, or releases ever, which is the super fast RS6, the 04 RS6 in black with gray wheels. This one kind of pays homage to that, and I like this as a big, mean, black wheels monster. I just think it's a very, very cool model. And I went back and forth, had to have that casting in there. And I think that's kind of a perfect selection and a perfect place for it. I really debated it. I really did. And there's a side of me that would just love to replace it right now, but we're keeping that. I just like the vibe of that black with black rims. All right. Kind of staying in that same route. This is the Porsche Panamera. It's got a long name. Porsche Panamera Turbo S E-Hybrid Sport Turismo. Panameras get a lot of guff, probably should, and but once they went and turned it into like a shooting brake wagon Porsche, I was like, I'm all in on these. Almost to the point, and this might be blasphemous, that if you gave me a choice of any Porsche, I might pick this one, even over a 911. Current 911 for sure. If it was any generation Porsche, I'm going back to the RS or something like that, 2.7, but. Maybe an old Targa from the 80s. But if it's a current Porsche, I don't know if they still make those. I love that casting. Lindsay did it. Lindsay's no longer with the design team. I love the color. I love the design. I love the rims. That was just a fantastic release. We'll move down here a little bit. So where are we at? 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9. Number 8, the companion to the new RS6 Avant. How about the old RS6 Avant? I thought about the Super Treasure Hunt. I think that's a great one. But I ultimately went kind of as a companion piece. I love the gray with gray rims. I think that is such a nice model. Love the rims on it. It's kind of the perfect premium. It also comes from the same mix, right? That Wagons 1, which is still just an all-time favorite for me. And I just say all-time favorite all the time. But it's one of the great car culture mixes. One day I'm going to rank the car culture mixes, and I promise you'll see that one up pretty high. All right, so where are we at? Brazilian, Euro. You could say the Brazilian is somewhat Euro because it's a VW, but Maxima's JDM, Volvo European, American, European. Let's go American again. I mentioned this one earlier in the video was the Hurst Chevelle wagon. This is the Zamac version that they did. I've always loved this model and this release in Zamac with the Hurst Deco. This is kind of an homage to the Vista Cruiser, right? Wasn't there a Vista Cruiser pace car with Hurst Deco on it? Maybe for Indy. So this is their version on the, with the Hurst Deco on a Chevelle wagon. And then when they just went Zamac on it, it just kind of hit the perfect combination. And I've just always loved kind of everything about that model. I really like the Chevelle casting, and I thought about putting the one from this mix of wagons. But ultimately, there's just so many elements of that Zamac hearse that I just love. All right, we're going back to the first mix of fast wagons. There's the 850 Estate. I thought about the racing versions, either the current one in Fast Wagons 2 or the basic, or they even did one in that Wagon series, that silver series. I don't do a lot of collecting of the silver series, but this one is a match to the Amazon color-wise. Love the rims on it. Love everything about this one. And while there were many I like, and I do like this casting, it's a top wagon casting, this is my favorite of that release, or of that casting. So that one gets in this list. So now we're to our top 5. I'll give you a second to try and think through what would be in his top 5. What wagons have not been represented? Maybe you're coming up with it. All right, here's one. You might think I'd go with the black Mercedes wagon, but I went with the white. Actually, why is that not? I love white cars, you know that. I probably would have done the black because it's so iconic, but this one is the corrected door, and so this is why I think this is the better release. I still would like to see this wagon released white with white rims. Obviously, I could customize one. I could even take the wheels off of the Audi wagon if I wanted to. But because I think it really fits the era. But I really like this one with the black 10 spokes. I think it's really cool. I love the casting. Obviously, we have our third version in red. First time in car culture. I don't care where that casting shows up. I'm adding it to the collection. It's a favorite casting, and it is up there. All right. This one, in terms of releases, if I were ranking my favorite wagon castings, this one would be either number 2 or number 1. But now I'm going with releases. And I love every release of this casting so far. But my favorite of the Audi RS2 Avant, and this might be my favorite casting, but in terms of releases, I'm going with the Zamac. I love clean Zamacs. I thought about the original blue because that's such a signature color for this one, but I thought, you know what, the Zamac with the it's just premium Hot Wheels. Well, premier Hot, I don't know, you know what I mean. Just fantastic Hot Wheels to have a clean Zamac as an Audi RS6 Avant, and I put that one as my number 4. Again, if it were castings, it's 1 or 2. All right. Top 3. Give you a chance to think about the castings. I'm sure you've thought of at least one. But this next one I consider one of the great RLC releases of all time. And every time I show this casting, whether in a short or in a video, I always get a comment of someone like, I had no idea they did that one. I want to go get it for a million reasons. This is the Custom 66 GTO, Pontiac GTO wagon. It's one of the best RLCs. And you see it? Chrome Steelies, this root beer Spectre Flame color. It's a great casting, but this casting would be out of the top 10 in terms of my favorite castings. But the execution of this RLC, white interior, root beer Spectre Flame, and the Chrome Steelies, it's just in all, if I were ranking, and I think I've done it before and I'll do it again soon, the best RLC releases, not castings, but releases, this would be top 5. Not kidding. It's so good. It's so good. And I think many of you agree, and then you run to eBay to try and find it. There we go. Kind of stuck in there, but we're good. All right, number 2. You know what it is. Do you? Well, you know it's going to show up. I mentioned the Datsun 510 wagon. I had to go with the OG. I have written articles. I've talked about this. Lamley was kind of built on this casting. Junimai debuted it at JCCS. I was there. I remember him showing it to me. I didn't know June at the time. First time I met him, and he was showing some other stuff at the JCCS. No, did I say JCCS? It was at JCCS at the Japanese Nostalgic Car booth. And he said, "Oh, I've got a special one coming," and he showed this, and he had his wagon there, and kind of mind blowing. This predates the 4-spoke, the Japanese rims they did, so they went with the muscle car rims. Just some awesome stuff about this. It's just a legendary car. Now the Datsun wagon, dare I say, It's played out. It's been a super treasure hunt twice. It's been in conventions. Not really. It hasn't really had a presence in RLC, but it's been in premium a ton. But this one is still the OG with the red rims. Still one of the all-timers. It's one of the great Hot Wheels of all time. Kind of really helped usher in the JDM era. Absolutely love that one. Number one. You want a chance to figure it out? You know what casting it is? You can think it through. This I consider the sequel to the 510 Wagon, designed by Junimai, but he took everything that he did in the 510 Wagon and made the 510 Wagon look almost obsolete with the Skyline van. This is the 69 Nissan Skyline van. Van is wagon in Japan. This one debuted in this fantastic color. This was in the Couriers, something Courier Cruisers or something, I don't remember. But between the color, the chrome 4 spokes, and the amazing amount of detail, like this kind of speaks to what he eventually started doing, like with the Datsun Wagon in his Kaido House line, right? This thing is tight, very clean. The lines are spectacular. And when you look at this model, and then you kind of go to the Datsun Wagon almost looks like a bit of a blob. It's still a legendary car, and Hot Wheels don't have to be perfect because they're Hot Wheels. It's just kind of a different vibe. But this thing is executed so beautifully. I love all of the elements of it, the way it's slammed, the small rims, everything. It is my number one wagon of all time. There's been some great releases of that since. The Advan Team Transport, the Toyo tires, but still nothing beats that original release. All right, guys, we've done it. We've talked wagons. We've talked them enough on top of mountains and back in the studio and everything else. Hopefully you're not sick of wagons, but maybe you're sick of talking about them. Let's just move forward. Fast Wagons is coming very, very soon. You guys tell me what you think. I want to know your rankings for best wagon releases as well. Break mine down. Tell me how wrong I am. I'm totally cool with that. Thanks, everybody. Bye.